Representatives Pabon, Chairman Foote, and Van Winkle as House Conferees on First Conference Committee on Senate Bill 184.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Given the action by the House, I move a call of the Senate.
Call of the Senate has been made and sustained. Will the sergeants please close the doors and not allow the senators to leave? Mr. Carpenter, would you please call the roll?
Senators Aguilar, Baumgardner, Cook, Quorum, Court, Crowder, Donovan, Finberg, Fields, Garcia, Gardner, Guzman, Hill, Holbert, John, Kagan, Kafalis, Kerr, Lambert, Lundberg, Marble, Martinez-Humenic, Merrifield, Moreno, Neville, Priola, Scott, Smallwood, Sonnenberg, Tate, Todd, Williams, Zinzinger. Mr. President.
Here. Hill is here. He's not missing. He's back there.
Hill.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the call be raised.
Motion is for the call to be raised. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Ayes have it, and the call will be raised. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to reconsider the last action taken regarding Senate Bill 254.
The motion is to reconsider the last action taken on Senate Bill 254. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Ayes have it, and the motion is adopted.
Now we need to move to reconsider.
Consideration of House Amendments to Senate Bills. Mr. Carpenter, please read the title of Senate Bill 254.
Senate Bill 254 by Senator Lambert and Representative Hamner concerning provision for payment of the expenses of the executive, legislative, and judicial departments of the state of Colorado and of its agencies and institutions for and during the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2017, except as otherwise noted.
Senator Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. President. We move to reject House amendments to Senate Bill 254, and we request that a conference committee be formed.
Is there any discussion on the motion? The motion is that the Senate not concur with the House amendments to Senate Bill 254 and that a conference committee be appointed. Are there any no votes on the formation of a conference committee? With 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, the motion is adopted. Senator Lambert.
Mr. President, we request to go beyond the scope of differences between the House and Senate versions on Senate Bill 254.
The motion is for permission for the conference committee to go beyond the scope of differences between the two versions. Are there any no votes? Is there discussion? There may be discussion on this motion. Senator Aguilar.
Thank you, Mr. President. I guess I'm wondering, I know there are other bills out there that will solve a lot of my concerns about going to conference committee, and I'm wondering, is there a timeline on this? When will we know the fate of some of these other legislations, and is this premature for you to be going to conference committee?
Is there any further discussion on the motion? Senator Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. President, and Senator Aguilar, just to answer your question. There are a variety of different bills making their way through the process that have an effect on Senate Bill 254, the long bill. The other bills that were part of the budget balancing package, Senate Bill 256, which restricts hospital provider fee revenues, and Senate Bill 262, which makes transfers to transportation funding, both of those passed the House. There were not changes made in the House, so both of those bills are on their way to the governor. However, there are other bills, Senate Bill 267, for example, which our minority leader and the senator from the Eastern Plains have been working hard on, is still up for consideration. If that bill passes, though that bill is allowed to make changes to the long bill, despite anything that might happen in conference committee. Those changes can still be made. So there's still potential that we will not have to cut hospitals. There's still potential that we won't have to cut transportation funding because of other bills currently making their way through the process.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion before the body is for the conference committee to have permission to go beyond the scope of differences. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Ayes have it, and the committee is granted permission to go beyond the scope. Following senators are appointed as members of the first conference committee on Senate Bill 254. Any volunteers? Any volunteers? Anyone? Anyone? Staff? Anyone? Senator Lambert is chair, Senators Lundberg and Moreno.
There's one. From the other house.
Announcements? Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate stand in recess until 2 p.m. Members, we may still have some bills to read over, but this time you won't have to come back. Thank you again for answering the call, getting that little bit of business done, and thank you to the JBC and to the House for finding the two bills and passing them. Mr. President, I move the Senate stand in recess until 2 p.m. today.
Motion is for the Senate stand in recess till 2 p.m. today. All those in favor say aye. You want to stay here? I mean, we can stay here. All in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, and we'll be in recess.